Odisha is home to more than 2,000 DPIIT registered startups, and the government has plans to take that number to more than 5,000 by 2025. Earlier this year, they launched Odisha Startup Yatra 2023 and Startup Express to help achieve their vision, and a lot of people don't realize this, but it was actually in a small town in Odisha where Oyo's founder Ritesh Agarwal started his entrepreneurial journey selling SIM cards. And so in today's video, we're going to be talking about 10 of Odisha's most notable startups, and we're going to be starting off in the capital city of Bhubaneswar, which hosts a majority of these startups as it's home to a bunch of incubators, including IIT Bhubaneswar's Technology Incubation Center, KIIT's Technology Business Incubator, and also the government of Odisha's O-Hub, which is created specifically to provide mentorship opportunities, access to funds, and a co-working ecosystem to startups in the region. And the first startup that I want to talk about from Bhubaneswar is a biotech startup called Prantae Solutions. So back in 2010, Sumona Mishra and her husband Aseem Mishra were excited when they found out about their pregnancy, but after 25 weeks of a normal pregnancy, that's more than 6 out of the 9 months of this pregnancy, Sumona was suddenly hospitalized and their baby was born prematurely. So this happened because of a condition called preeclampsia, and it's actually something that happens to more than 10 million pregnant women every single year globally, and it's a pretty big contributor to the maternal mortality rate. Turns out, preeclampsia can only be detected in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy, and by that time, it's already a huge problem. And so, in 2015, Sumona and Aseem, who are both PhDs in biotechnology, started Prantae Solutions to develop early diagnostic solutions for rare diseases with a focus on pregnancy-related disorders. In fact, Prantae Solutions' first product was Eyera, which can detect symptoms of preeclampsia as early as the 1st or 2nd trimester, and last year, Prantae Solutions even won a National Startup Award for their life-saving innovation. Alright, next up in Bhubaneswar, we're going to change gears entirely and talk about a mineral processing startup called Innocule. Founded by Gyan, Ranjan and Surbhi Sarna in 2014, Innocule develops products that increase the yield of valuable minerals like iron from ores, which is used in the production of steel. So the problem that these guys are solving, and you won't know this if you're not in this industry, is that handling iron ores during monsoon can be tricky because the ores become sticky due to moisture, which makes the processing and extraction of iron very difficult. And so Innocule's flagship chemical product, OREFLO, is developed specifically to handle this issue. OREFLO contains a stickiness inhibitor, meaning that it can increase the yield of iron from these ores by as much as 100%, and it's already being used across multiple mines in the country, including Tata Steel's Noamuddi, Jodha, BSL, and Kalinganagar iron mines. And the best part about Innocule's products is that they can be used in current mining plants without the need for any major modifications. Alright, coming up next year, we have a cold chain solutions provider called MachPhy Solutions, which was founded by Pradeep Raut, Suraj Kumar, and Gaurav Anand in 2017, and basically what these guys are doing is building cold temperature controlled bags that are used to transport temperature sensitive products. So the idea for MachPhy Solutions came to Pradeep Raut back in 2014 when he was visiting a remote village and saw that there were children there who were still suffering from polio despite taking the polio vaccine. Why did this happen? Well, the problem was cold chain infrastructure. So according to some estimates, nearly 20% of all healthcare products in India arrive in degraded conditions due to a lack of proper cold chain infrastructure. And so to solve this problem, MachPhy Solutions has developed temperature-controlled bags that can maintain temperatures between 2 and -60 degrees Celsius, which are used to transport vaccines. What's more, their active cooling system helps them to monitor and regulate temperatures for these bags remotely, making sure that they maintain the ideal temperature required for different vaccine transportation using these bags. Today, MachPhy Solutions products are being used across industries like pharma, hospital, agriculture, and even FMCG. Moving on now, we have hyperlocal online delivery startup Grozip. While working as Google's business group manager in the United States, Ananda Mishra wanted to get groceries delivered back to his parents in the city of Cuttack, but he couldn't find a reliable solution. And this was before Flipkart and Amazon had begun expanding into India's Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. And so Ananda discussed this problem with his friends Surya Singhari and Asha Mishra, and together they launched Grozip in 2016. Now, back then, Grozip started exclusively as a subscription-based milk delivery startup for the Tier 2 market, but since then, they've transformed into a hyperlocal delivery platform that delivers pretty much everything from groceries to parcels to medicine in under 3 hours. Then, in 2018, Grozip was selected for Alibaba's E-Founders Fellowship program, where Ananda got the opportunity to be mentored by Jack Ma himself and learn about Alibaba's growth in China. Ananda used these insights to scale Grozip into other Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities in India, and as of last year, Grozip had already delivered more than 1 lakh orders across Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, and Rourkela. Alright, up next, we have medical cannabis startup Vedi Herbals. Launched by Saurabh Agarwal and Priyanka Agarwal in 2016, Vedi Herbals sells cannabis-infused oils and tablets to help with common ailments like anxiety, stress, and insomnia directly through their website. Now, just to be clear, while the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act does ban the use of cannabis plant flowers and resins, hemp plants, or leaves and seeds of the cannabis plant, are still exempt. And that's exactly what Vedi Herbals uses to make their medicines. In fact, the company has even received a pan-India license from the Ministry of Ayurveda, Yoga, and Naturopathy to sell their medicines based on a prescription. Back in 2020, Vedi Herbals made headlines when they opened India's first medical cannabis clinic in Bengaluru. However, the company still conducts all of its R&D at its center in Bhubaneswar. As of 2021, which is the most recent data that we could find on the company, they have sold to over 8,000 customers across India. Alright, moving on to our final startup from Bhubaneswar now, we have a multi-center fertility clinic called Santaan. So the problem that these guys are solving is that 1 in 6 couples in India faces difficulties while trying to conceive, but fertility-related issues are still pretty taboo in the country. And so to tackle this problem, Raghav Prasad Banda and Dr. Satish Prasad Rath launched Santaan in 2014 to address the problem of fertility care in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Santaan offers everything from diagnosis to fertility tests to IVF at a single center so that patients don't have to go to different places for different treatments. On top of this, they're also working on a new AI-based product called Fertilite, which would help their patients conduct tests and plan their fertility treatments from home. According to their website, Santaan has helped more than 7,000 couples become parents, and right now they have 2 centers in Odisha, one in Bhubaneswar and one in Berhampur, although they've also recently launched one in Bengaluru as well. Alright, next up on this list from the city of Puri, we have an eco-tourism initiative called Desia. Founded by Yuga Brattakar in 2014, Desia offers Odisha's local tribal experiences to tourists while also providing employment opportunities to the locals involved in their traditional crafts in the Koraput Valley. Desia is almost entirely run by local villagers, and the money that they make from this ecotourism initiative goes back into the community to sponsor the education and skill development of their youth, creating a sustainable ecosystem for the local community. Today, Yuga Bratta employs more than 40 people through this Desia initiative and plans to replicate this model across different regions of Odisha. Moving on now to the city of Sambhalpur, we have a home services startup called Homvery. Founded by Prahlad Mittal, Ritesh Mittal, and Rajat Kaur in 2017, Homvery is basically building the urban company of Odisha. The idea for Homvery came to Prahlad when he noticed that technicians would refuse to come to his house due to a fear of bargaining, and so Prahlad and his co-founders used 2,000 rupees to launch Homvery on a pilot basis. The idea here was to connect customers directly with home technicians by offering fixed and transparent pricing, and since then, Homvery has expanded their services to 7 more cities in Odisha, and they have more than 10,000 registered users on their platform. Alright, coming up next on this list, we have a startup based in Berhampur, and it's a food brand called Munico Foods. Founded by Satyabrat Muni in 2021, Munico Foods works with farmers to help in the processing of their agriculture food produce, and then this food is packaged and sold under Munico's brand through their own website. In fact, the startup recently won the Millet Odisha Startup Innovation Challenge organized by Startup Odisha, winning 3 lakh rupees as prize money for helping farmers with millet-based food products like ragi papar, energy drinks, and health drinks. Alright, next up on this list, we have a startup from the city of Rourkela, which is an agri-tech company called Biotez Agrinovation. India is the world's 2nd largest steel producer, producing 125.3 million tons of steel in the financial year of 2023, and this number is expected to reach 300 million tons by the year 2030. But the problem with steel production is the generation of a byproduct called steel slag, which contains metals like nickel, cadmium, chromium, and strontium. India produces about 19 million tons of steel slag every single year, which could grow to as much as 60 million tons by 2030. And since there's no efficient method of disposing of steel slag, it ends up in nearby areas polluting the water, air, and land around it. But an NIT Rourkela alumni Shitarashi Sahu, along with their botany professor Meena Kumari Maharana, figured out a way to use this steel slag to make biofertilizers, which can actually improve the fertility of the soil. And so they founded Biotez Agrinovation in 2020, and so far they've already tested their biofertilizers across 50 farms in 2022, and this resulted in a 10 to 20% increase in agricultural yield, and this is great news for India's entire steel industry as well. Alright, that was our list for the top 10 Odisha startups. I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one.